Good morning, Brownsville. This morning, Karen Silva was in a hearing. I do apologize for coming on an hour late. We did post earlier that we were following a story. We just got out. The hearing just concluded, and so we are here before you. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, ladies and gentlemen. A lot has been transpiring. Yesterday, we talked about Karen Silva's case. Yesterday, we made the arguments on how we feel as if Karen Silva is innocent of these charges. One thing that the beauty of living in the United States is that if we're ever accused of a crime, we have the opportunity to go before a jury, to go before a judge, and for us to make our claim and make our arguments as to why we should not be charged with a crime. Today, ladies and gentlemen, Karen Silva was present before the magistrate judge on a writ of habeas corpus. Her attorneys are making the argument that she is being held illegally. She did post bond, $10,000, but she does have an ICE detainer. Her attorneys are arguing that, hey, the federal government had 48 hours to pick Ms. Silva up, and they didn't do so. Today, ladies and gentlemen, present at the hearing were several individuals, and we want to state that there has been new information regarding Karen Silva's case. Ms. Karen Silva is now being represented by Luis Sorola. He has been hired to take over for this case. So he will be representing Ms. Silva moving forward. This is a very interesting case, ladies and gentlemen. Now, us on the outside, we have seen how this case has touched the lives of the hearts and minds of everyone, not just the community here in Brownsville, but more importantly, throughout the state. And many people have been quick to judge. We here at Good Morning Brownsville have even taken part in that. The beauty of living in the United States is we could have our time in court to make arguments as to why either the state or charges being filed against us should never have been filed. This case, ladies and gentlemen, was heard this morning because the attorneys are arguing that Karen Silva should be released from custody. This is an individual that does have an ICE detainer and is being housed at the Cameron County Jail. Now, the defendant in this case, Karen Silva, is in a limbo because while she is now in the custody of the federal government, she is being housed at Carrizales, Olmito, Texas, in Cameron County. Essentially, what is happening here is that Karen Silva has two active cases, one with the state, which is of the second-degree felony that she was charged for the death of Logan Urbina. And the other case is an immigration case. This morning present, she did have her immigration attorney, Jody Young. Jody Goodwill. She is the lady to the left with glasses. I was sitting next to her. She made the representation that at one time, she made the representation to the court that at one time her case was being held, or she was being held in Laredo, Webb County, Texas. Karen Silva has an immigration hearing in Harlingen in December. Arturo Teniente for the state did advise the court that if Karen Silva was released, that she would be deported. Now, her defense team, Karen Silva's defense team, did make the argument and say, hey, we don't know that. Arturo Teniente can't say that. So the defense team, essentially what they're asking for is for Karen Silva to be released on a bond. What we will find out, ladies and gentlemen, in the very near future is what happened on that tragic day. What we have learned from the complaint filed, the arrest warrant, and what we have heard from the news has been that there was a field trip on that day. The students returned back to the facility, to the preschool at 11:30. They arrived to the preschool at 11:30. That at 4:30, they realized that one student, Logan Urbina, was missing. They ultimately found him in the van. But let's not be so quick to judge. Again, this individual has been vilified. She's been crucified by the media. And we possibly here at Good Morning Brownsville have participated in that. What if there's reasonable doubt, ladies and gentlemen? What's to say that the child, Logan Urbina, did get off that van? Who's to say that the baby Logan, got back into the van after the fact that he was dropped off? Now, I'm not here to make that argument, but we can't conclusively say what happened until we get video. This van was parked right in front of the preschool. And right in front of the preschool, there is video. There is a camera. What will images of that camera show? We don't know. Currently, right now, the district attorney's office is in possession of that camera, of the footage. Who's to say that the child didn't get off? There is a possibility, ladies and gentlemen, that Karen Silva's civil rights are being violated. That is the argument that her team is stating. Right now, according to an order that was signed, her defense team is stating that the district attorney's office made a directive order to the county not to release Karen Silva based on the order that was signed previously. The defense is saying the reason why the federal government won't pick her up is because of that order. The reason why she's not being released is because Cameron County has said she can't be released. And there is reasons why. The defense is saying that the examining trial has been concluded. Even though she hasn't been indicted yet, she is seeking relief of seeking a bond. And in order for her to receive a bond from the federal government, from ICE, well, she would have to be before them. This isn't something to where she is currently in custody in Cameron County, and the federal immigration court is going to give her a bond. No, she has to go before the immigration judge. Now, I want to talk about very quickly about the conditions in which Ms. Karen Silva is living in. Cameron County has poor infrastructure at the jail. In her cell, there was a pipe that busted. And the county jail has had these issues that have been plagued that building. So just imagine her as an inmate living under conditions where the sewage water is coming up. She's walking in feces, walking in wastewater. She's 3-4 months pregnant. Her civil rights are being violated. They're being denied. Why? Because the county, the sheriff's office, is not releasing her. The federal government did have 48 hours to pick her up, and they didn't. So essentially what is happening is Karen Silva is in limbo. Usually what the defense team would try to go for is, and I'm just talking about this particular case, I'm talking about cases in general. Usually what the defense team goal is for probation. Maybe she'll spend 180 days in jail. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen in this case, but the defense team, for whatever case they're trying, their goal is to get the best outcome for their client. Let's say, hypothetically, Karen Silva does get probation down the road because of XYZ factors. Again, let's not be quick to judge. And us as human beings, we fall into that trap. We live in a society where, unfortunately, you're guilty right away. You have to prove your innocence. But the beauty, Lady Liberty, she's blind. So moving forward, I want you to keep an open mind. Let's not crucify this individual just yet, because there is video that is going to be given to the defense team very soon through discovery. So what will that video show? I don't know. Would that video show the baby, the child getting out of that van? Remember, we are stating that on that day, Karen Silva left at 1:30. She had a doctor's appointment because she's pregnant. Who's to say that all the children got out? What if the baby got back in the van? So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave you with this. Moving forward, Luis Sorola has been hired by Karen Silva. He is representing her. Her immigration lawyer was present at the hearing. Her team is requesting for the magistrate judge to release her. She has already posted her bond for Cameron County. She has the ICE detainer, but ICE had 48 hours to pick her up, and they didn't. The conditions in which she's living in right now are horrible. I know what you're thinking. Oh, que sufra. Es lo que merece. But again, let's be quick to refrain from rushing to judgment. Because what's going to happen if, hypothetically, there is video out there, exculpatory video that exonerates this individual? Could she file a lawsuit against Cameron County for her not being released within adequate time? Possibly. Because that was the main argument that her attorneys made, that her rights were being violated. That is the reason why the Writ of Habeas Corpus request was heard. No decision was made. The judge did request more time on this matter because, again, this is a very serious case. And the judge said, look, I have experience as a prosecutor. I have experience as a defense attorney. I need more time to investigate. Is there a possibility that Karen Silva might be released? We don't know. But I do want to leave you with this, ladies and gentlemen, before I leave. Don't be quick to judge. Let's wait for all the facts to be released. Let's be hesitant on vilifying her. Let's be hesitant on crucifying her. We showed you yesterday's program how she was entrusted with 10 children on that field trip, she brought back 10 children from that field trip. 10 children under her custody are alive today. Who do we place the blame on? We place the blame on Sadie Ruiz. She was entrusted with 2 of the Urbina children. One of them is no longer here. We're also blaming the owner because the owner was present and she did not do her due diligence in making sure that all the children return safely. So again, Attorney Luis Sorola will be representing Karen Silva moving forward. Her immigration attorney was present. They are requesting for a judge to release her, if not to put her in the custody, have ICE come pick her up because they have a better facility. They can give her prenatal vitamins. They can care for her. Compared to the quality of care at Cameron County, there is none. So that is what transpired today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Frank Olivo TV. We could be found under YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Peace.